ESPN's Todd McShay released his mock draft predictions, and when it comes to that number 15 pick, which the Patriots possess, his prediction was Ohio State quarterback Justin Fields. That one made my jaw drop. Mariah, Janos, and Evan Lazar here. Evan, what's your reaction to this prediction?
Well, I don't want to throw Todd McShay under the bus too much, but I do think that a lot of these mock drafts, you go for headlines, right? You just are trying to get people to click on them and pay attention to them. So I think that there is an element of that here. And I think the biggest thing that Todd McShay kind of slept on in this mock draft is teams trading up that need a quarterback into that top 10 range. If somebody like Justin Fields were to start to slide, or Trey Lance or Zach Wilson, there are so many teams, Patriots included, 49ers, Patriots, that we can go right on down the list, that are going to be chomping at the bit to get up to that pick. And you're going to have a team like Detroit, like Atlanta, like Miami, that are going to start auctioning off their picks and saying, hey, you want the quarterbacks, come up and get them because our pick is for sale. And you're going to get leapfrogged by a team that's going to end up wanting the QB. So nobody's fallen to 15 out of the top 4 quarterbacks. The question is there enough of a slide that the Patriots can then get into the conversation about leapfrogging a team like San Francisco in order to get into the sweepstakes for one of those guys?
Right. And you talk about Justin Fields being in that top 10. And then, I mean, who knows, in the national championship game, if he has himself a game, he could solidify his spot in the top 5. So I just feel like he won't even be on the board at 15, or even if the Patriots move up or there's a slide, like you mentioned, It's just not likely, right?
No, it's a crazy take, honestly. And I think the biggest thing that McShay said was that there are some concerns about Justin Fields' ability to read the field, see the entire football field. And obviously, when you're operating with a player like Justin Fields or like Mac Jones at Alabama, 2 guys we're going to see in the national championship game, it's difficult to decipher how much of it is the supporting cast, how much of it is the people around the quarterback versus the quarterback himself. I'm more concerned about that analysis, though, with Mac Jones, because he doesn't have the physical gifts that we see from Justin Fields, whereas Justin Fields is one of the strongest arms in college football. He's a dual threat quarterback. He can bring a lot more to the table than just standing there and hitting wide open receivers. And obviously in the Sugar Bowl, 6 touchdowns in the Sugar Bowl we saw in the semifinal, threading the needle on a couple of those and some really great throws. No team is going to watch Justin Fields' tape and say, maybe a mid-first round pick. I just don't see that happening. This is not Jordan Love. This is not one of those guys that's coming from a lower conference or a lower division of football. This is a Power 5 quarterback with Power 5 production, top 5 production really in the NFL draft, considering that. And I think this is a pipe dream. If you're going to connect yourself to a player and hope and pray and cross your fingers that maybe he might fall in the Patriots range, it's definitely North Dakota State's Trey Lance. He's the one that's got a lot more uncertainty surrounding him and could potentially see a little bit of a slide.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It's interesting you talk about the supporting cast. We said the same thing about Joe Burrow, and he proved us wrong. And like you said, a lot of guys, but also like you've said before, the draft is a crapshoot. You really don't know what you are going to get. So we'll see what happens. For all of our Patriots coverage, head to clnsmedia.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel over at Patriots Press Pass.